Hello everyone, I'm Jingyuan, nice to meet you all again. As passengers on a commercial flight, we often hear conversations between the flight attendants. Sometimes we may be quite confused about the words they use. For example, operating the separator, customs seal, write-off forms, and so on. What do these terms mean in civil aviation? Today, we will learn about the professional terminology of flight attendant. Let's start with a few simple ones. You may have noticed that every ticket has a cabin class display. For example, the letters F, C, Y. Each letter represents a different position. F stands for first class. C stands for business class. Y stands for economy class. This is the professional terminology we're talking about. When a flight attendant is assigned to a flight, they first receive their flight mission. The mission is a professional term, indicating the flight schedule they will conduct. After confirming their flight mission, they must check in with the chief flight attendant and relevant departments. The check-in is also a professional term, indicate within the specified time before takeoff, they should arrive at the flight dispatch department, sign on the flight executed by the attendant, or confirm it on the computer. Once the flight attendant has checked in, it means they are aware of the flight they will be serving, and have made full preparations for the flight. After completing their personal preparations, they are required to attend the pre-flight briefing. This is commonly known as the pre-flight preparation meeting. It means attending the pre-flight crew meeting organized by the chief flight attendant at the specified time before the flight. The meeting is to review the routes and aircraft types, the division of labor among flight attendants, the understanding of the latest business announcements, and formulation of service plans and emergency evacuation plans for cabin safety, etc. At this meeting, each flight attendant must clarify their position on flight, so as to cooperate more effectively and better serve the passengers. As the chief flight attendant, before executing the flight, in addition to holding the pre-flight preparation meeting, they must also attend the crew meeting. The crew meeting is also a professional term. It is convened by the captain, attended by flight crew members and the chief flight attendant. The main content is to report the preparation status of each type of work, and to listen to the captain's requirements. After the two meetings are confirmed, the crew and flight attendants start their own work. Now let's learn some of the professional terms frequently used by flight attendants during the flight. First is the aircraft supplies. It refers to the general term for items provided for passengers and crew on the flight. Counting aircraft supplies is one of the important tasks. Next is recovery. It refers to the process of counting the supplies on the plane, placing them into specified meal boxes or carts, and sealing them with a lead seal and filling out the recovery form. As passengers, you may often hear this, operating the slide or separator. It means the process of positioning or disengaging the emergency slide pole or handle of the aircraft cabin door. The next one appearing frequently is safety inspection. I believe everyone is very familiar with it. It refers to the inspection conducted when the plane is taking off, descending, landing, bumping, or in emergency situations, to confirm that passengers in various facilities comply with safety regulations. It includes emergency exits, aisles, bathrooms without obstacles, tray tables, seat backs, footrests in the normal position, overhead bins closed and secured, all items in the galley are fixed, and curtains are pulled and fixed. Moreover, seatbelts should be fastened, and no use of electronic devices that affect wireless navigation equipment, such as mobile phones, etc. After completing the catering work, attendants walk back and forth in the cabin. There goes another term, cabin patrol. Its significance is to observe the needs of passengers and safety conditions, deal with special circumstances, and provide timely and thoughtful service. This is called cabin patrol when there are passengers. When there are no passengers, flight attendants walk back and forth in the cabin, looking around. There is another one, cabin clearance. It means before passengers board, or after passengers disembark, security and flight attendants check all parts of the aircraft to ensure there are no foreign personnel on board, and foreign items. Before the plane takes off, flight attendants also need to confirm whether some documents are complete. For example, the customs seal mentioned at the beginning of the class. What does this professional term mean? It is actually an official document used by customs officers. Usually, it is sealed in an envelope and handed over to the flight attendant before the flight takes off. The flight attendant then hands it over to the customs officer upon arrival. The passenger manifest is also very important. It contains the names of passengers, destinations, and seat numbers, etc. Usually provided by the airline's commercial department, it is handed over to the plane along with the business bag before takeoff. There are also some professional terms. I think everyone is already very familiar with them. They appear very frequently in our other courses. Now let's summarize and learn them together. Special meals refer to meals with special requirements, such as baby meals, kosher meals, halal meals, vegetarian meals, etc. Special passengers refer to passengers who need special arrangements or care from the carrier on the flight, like VIP passengers, pregnant passengers, passengers with disabilities, etc. As flight attendants, we must all master the service methods for these special passengers. It reflects the professional service skills of flight attendants. Frequent travelers refer to passengers who often take a certain airline's flights and participate in mileage accumulation rewards. These frequent travelers are also the people that flight attendants should pay more attention to. In professional terminology, in addition to frequent travelers, there are also origin passengers, transfer passengers, and interline passengers. What do these terms mean? Origin passengers refer to passengers who board the plane at the flight's origin. Transfer passengers refer to passengers who take a certain flight and transfer to a different flight number at the stopover to continue their journey. That is to say, these passengers, after arriving at a stopover, transfer to other flights to continue flying. Interline passengers. For every transfer passenger, there is an interline passenger. Refers to passengers who continue their journey by taking 2 or more flights. These passengers are: after a flight arrives at a stopover, the passengers do not transfer to other flights, but continue to follow this plane to the destination. There are also some more conceptual terms, such as route maps, flights, load balance sheets, load balance charts, random business bags, etc. Let's also go through the meanings of them. As the name suggests, it is a map that indicates the flight route, distance, and location. It is a map that the captain and pilots must use. We are all too familiar with the term flight. So what does it specifically mean? It means transportation flights carried out on designated routes, with specified aircraft types, according to set dates and times. But we are less familiar with a load balance sheet. It refers to the record of the weight of passengers, luggage, mail, cargo, and unit load device weights carried by the flight. It is a voucher between transportation service departments and the flight crew, and between each station on the route, for the handover of load quantities. It is also the basis for calculating the actual volume. It records various weight data of the aircraft. We also have less contact with the term load balance chart. It means starting with the empty aircraft center of gravity index for calculation, to determine the aircraft's takeoff center of gravity position, and according to the requirements of the aircraft center of gravity position, properly arrange the seats of passengers on the plane, and the loading volume of each cargo compartment. In fact, the load balancing we often talk about as closely related to these two terms. The random business file bag refers to the inclusion of a general declaration form, passenger manifest, weight balance sheet, cargo bills and mail route bills, and other business documents, as well as the cabin, cargo hold, and fuel tank diagrams. These last three may sound particularly complex and hard to accept. That's okay. These three pieces of information are what the flight crew need to master and confirm. We flight attendants just need to know it exists. Now everyone has a clearer and more definite understanding of the definitions of flight attendant professional terms. The key and difficult points also need to be mastered proficiently. Check-in, preparation meeting, crew meeting, aircraft supplies, operating the separator, safety inspection, customs seal, and transfer and interline passengers. The specific meanings of these terms and their main purposes need to be understood. When flight attendants are performing tasks, they should be able to proficiently use professional terms, demonstrating their professionalism. Of course, using professional terms, to some extent, it also serves as a kind of safety protection. If an emergency or special situation arises during the flight, they become a code between flight attendants. In this class, we have studied in detail the professional terms. Before this lesson, although some professional terms seem familiar, we can't express the specific meaning. I hope that this lesson can help you have a clearer and more thorough understanding, and understand the details of the flight attendant's work. Well, that's it for today's lesson. Thank you everyone. Goodbye.